solid foundation isn't the NFTs. I think it's about the actual services and products that will help people.
Utility, man.
Yeah.
It's about.
It's really like creating real value for communities.
Exactly. And that's why I love the real estate piece that Mark's been putting forth, is that yes, you have actual property.
Right.
I think there's a lot to get worked out there. What does it mean to be a part owner of a piece of property? What is that? What rights are you granted, or what? Why? And all that. But this idea of prototyping in metaverse is like brilliant, and I think it's fairly easy to do these days, and you could I guess like scan in or a digital elevation map or whatever of the property, and start putting structures on there, and then live in them essentially, as and then well, I don't like this, and wipe it out and try something different, and keep prototyping and playing until it like clicks, and of course as more people come on board. It's a great concept. I love it.
And the truth is, by the fact, we only have to really do it once.
Yeah.
For 144 people, just an example, because it's a good way to scale it. And there is something about still the number 144, when those are operating as one organism, real time on the land, really building that harmonic vibration, and that can be completely replicated, scaled to everywhere when we want it. Of course, have it video documented every day from every angle, so that people can just watch it at educational purposes, and it's efficient. Like, we have to do it immediately with the first round. And you remember the Golden Age Caravan Media Project, right? Where we are popping up on all the different eco-villages and places, right? With artists, facilitators, medicine keepers, and we just gonna drive across the country, pop up in all these future eco-villages, and already create the community events, retreats, showing a blueprint of bringing 144 people together, right? The retreat that you attended, we were 42 people, and there was a problem with the venue and stuff. But the idea was 144 living for 4 days together first, video pilot, right? And it's so interesting, because if you even measure it with biometrics, you could actually create the algorithm based on each one individual, and that's how you could create this. I believe, based on our human interaction, if we learn how to mirror that into code, then Holochain can be launched, because that's actually what Holochain really wants to do, how to interact peer-to-peer fully. And I have with Fernanda on the 1st of December a call where she wants to see how Holochain can be plugged into that, because if we decide to build it on Holochain, then I'm definitely going to ask Fernando to support us with tokens, or like with even fund the project, and we launch Holochain together with DAO VIllages as the project, if we decide to do it with Holochain. Because the truth is that for me, like, of course, Solana, Cardano, even Binance, it's like they're all, sure, like they're out there, they're already in the top. But the truth is, like, if I have personal relationship to the people and know who are building it, that's what I'm looking for right now. Of course, technologically, they are a little bit more advanced than they are, but that doesn't matter, because if we know we have the value and integrity in place and the right people to work with, then we can always create those technologies that others have better technology or not. So it's like, it's just having the right team. And I think Holochain is already in that space. I will feel it when I talk with Fernando on the 1st of December, and then decide if we build it first on Solano, do a crowdfunding in January on Solano, or Ethereum is just too expensive, the transactions, but or Cardano, and then swap it to Holochain if they decide to work with us. That's just something that I put my head around it. And we have right now, we have like just me, like since the presentation in my phone of what's happening is like for sure, like 5 people who are real people who are really interested in putting finances towards what we are doing. And now it's about creating my perspective to finalize the white paper with the token model, do the website, and maybe a little video trailer. It doesn't even have to be but with animations and stuff. If somebody in the team can do that, but not even necessarily, and a professional proposal. And I think, Ed, you have the experience in knowing maybe what we could write in that proposal. Like some people from the team already start writing some. So that's kind of like where we are heading, to show it to those 5 people, or maybe more who are joining, to get the first guys in. And then we can pay ourselves to do the job, plus half would be in tokens. So that's kind of like where I am at with things, to go deeper on the different graphics and how the tokenomics will work. That's my intention with, you know, hearing what you guys have to say, and whoever wants to help with that.
I'm curious what energy or interest or skills have come in so far strongly. I mean, I see we have Arian and Michael on the call. You guys, I'm curious how you guys might relate to this project.
Yeah.
Is it on the software side mainly, or business?
For me, it's neither. I have a great interest in crypto, but my main skill would be art and design. And I also shared some things in the Telegram group. I'm also very interested in architecture and philosophy, festival aesthetics, and culture in general. I'm also here in Germany. We are working on a seminar house, and we threw a festival for a few 100 people, or
Nice.
almost 200.
Nice.
And I'm all in networking and into financial systems. I studied different philosophies, yeah, but I'm not so much on the programming and financial side. But it's good that we have these people as well.
Yeah, totally. So art and design. So are you doing like graphic, or like are you doing UX design, UI design too?
And we are also working on an app, and I have this job, but it's not my main my main field of expertise. Okay. I'm more like I also do traditional painting, 3D work, drawing, illustration. Yeah.
Nice. That's beautiful. We totally need that. And I've been also talking with Arian a little bit of that. That's what I actually wanted to share here. There was a page called totem.earth. I just want to share it again with you guys, and maybe just hearing, just like, I don't know if we should go in this direction. I'm totally like open. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
So it just has something cool, gamified, but I don't know if that's what we are talking about. But like, you know, like with this graphic that is kind of like moving, and it gives already like a little gamified experience, and then you become a dollar citizen, right? And then it shows the eco future. So they're totally in our vibe, like collective ecosystems and a multiverse, NFTs, and all of that. But I was thinking kind of like a similar page like that, where we just show the new world created with all these different houses all around the world, with like showing even how the mycelium network, you know, shows it that is all interconnected, and kind of like a hologram Earth on top of it. You kind of like understand somehow that we are merging those worlds to together. That was just my first idea, but I'm totally open for any creative suggestion. I know that Denise Aurora, right, she is doing UX also, UX and UI, and she called me before the call, but I told her I will call her back if she wants to even jump in and help with that. But
yeah, my question would be, what is this project? How did you discover it? What really are they doing?
These guys,
Mhm.
I don't know exactly what they're doing, but they also, you know, create their own avatar, XR, building communities. I didn't exactly figure out. It's more like it's
like a developer tool set. So, you know, I think it's wise actually to find somebody who's worked out a lot of the hard parts and just come in onto another platform that you, because building a platform from scratch can be a distraction from what we're really trying to do here.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shit ton of work and responsibility to take on, and could end up dominating, you know, just all the conversations and everything. Whereas, you know, if we have an open platform that looks like, you know, even if it isn't exactly ideal in terms of, you know, maybe transaction costs, like you mentioned, or whatever, you know, if it lets us get going quicker,
right.
then that's maybe much less expensive than if we tried to build something ourselves from scratch, you know.
Totally. So, for example,
Totally agree. Yeah.
So
And I think the other Michael that's in South Africa, he's also super smart and it's got a lot of these pieces figured out and is trying to see where we can just plug in instead of building everything from scratch again.
Yes.
nice. Yeah. So maybe even the platform that I just shared, a friend of mine knows those guys and he will connect me with them, I don't know, today, tomorrow, like soon. And then I can just approach them, you know, if they want to, because the interface kind, I don't know, it looked like they are on the same mission. So I would check in with them, maybe use something that they have already and want to partner.
Certainly worth looking at, and really, you know, if you find the right you know, group to work with, they might heavily incentivize us to come onto their platform, you know. And you know, because that's a lot of it too, is you know, support, right? If they can support us and make connections for us, and then help to promote, you know, what we're doing and all of that, that counts for a lot, because otherwise you have to build those systems yourself, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but there's also, I also see this competition aspect, because you know, if they are doing exactly the same thing as we are, why would they support us? You know, and really, I think it's also, you know, have some kind of really know what is the field, what are the resources, you know. It's also called a stakeholder map, you know, like who are the people, what is exactly the people we're targeting it for. And yeah, I think it would be good to have some kind of knowledge what is out there. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This particular website, the totem.earth, it looks like it looks like it's more like tools that they're building that we can pick up, and you know, as long as we can create our own brand that's unique, you know, like white label or whatever, and our you know, our own like branded tokens, I suppose, you know, and operate on somebody else's systems and let them maintain those systems. Yeah, that might make sense. But I do think, you know, it's almost, I mean, there's so many choices. I think that the hard part for me is there's so many choices out there, you know, and it's like, oh gosh, you know, how do we choose? But, you know, if I was doing this as a, you know, like I do in big engineering projects and events, multi-million-dollar events and that sort of thing, And what I'll do is put out an RFP, you know, or a description of what we're looking for, and let these groups come in and pitch us, you know, and try to win us over, you know, and with what they've got, you know, and because you do need to suss like what's real.
Yeah, let's do
There's a lot of big vision. Yeah.
Yes,
let's
that
do
was also what I was trying to say without being too
totally fully agree with that. And let's plan DAO VIllage crowdfund wisdom event.
Cool.
To do it in wisdom, and when we talk about that, you know, do also breathing and frequency and all crystal stuff. I don't know, I just like I think we should do that in January or something.
Yeah, it's something to well, let's talk about it. I certainly, you know, Vortex, my company is really more like a tribe than a company. But you know, a lot of content creators in the circles here. You know, certainly the content creators that we work with, the artists, they're all very keen to teach other artists how to use the dome and bring them in and give them access. And yeah, so I think, you know, the thing that I think we need to most clarify, Mark, is to solidify the concept of how this works. You know, like, what is the business model? What is the value proposition? I mean, we have all the cool big vision stuff, but how does it actually work? You know, and how does somebody come say, I have a case study. I come in, hi, Nana. I didn't say hello. You know, somebody comes in with a property, right? Like, so I have a friend who has this property up in Denman Island, and it's British Columbia, and she's not vaccinated. They won't even let her in the country right now. So she's had enough, but she inherited it, right? And she's like, I don't know what to do with this. Should I sell it? It's got like a big house on the property, and lots of smaller like cabins, you know, and it's like a retreat center. And we're talking about doing rider retreats up there or whatever, but it'd be really cool to activate that property. And so, Denman Island, D-E-N-M-E-N, I think.
Okay.
Island.
I think these are the key information, like what you're saying now, thinking about the form, like to help create like a form. Like, basically there's forms like this out there for eco villages to or people that want to build eco villages to put in their information. But I think these kind of things, like where exactly is the property, what is already on there, those questions are kind of missing. And what's the rough direction they want to go in, and not like, and so that we can actually get the 3D data of those spaces, you know.
Yeah, you need a case study, so a place to work with. And, you know, this might not be the ideal one to start with. It might be easier if it's in the US. I don't know. Of course, a lot of people want to get out of the US now, so that might be.
Yeah. So what I have to say with that is we have Pablo, who was sharing a little bit of the presentation. So they have an actual case study doing right now in where they have already, you know, the virtual world created, and you can already walk around.
That was very impressive, by the way, his project.
Yeah, so that's already one part of the project, which is an example, and in the portfolio, if you may say, right, is a portfolio. And oh yeah, and he didn't show it, like the really cool stuff. It was the mushroom psychedelic verse on the land where you cultivate it. It's insane. It's like, it's so great. That is already just the right people seeing that and understanding the value. They just come in and because we have something very, very massive right now because I'm talking with the right people. Like we have a call with Farzan, and we want to already put this, he wants also to help and put it together to present it to the right people. So this is going right now. So for me, it's just the task and exactly what you just said, to really put the information down, gather the information so that we really know what to do. I did a little task, like what I feel like we need to have done to really move this forward. And Ed, you have many good points always to add on that. But there is another thing in Simi Valley. There is a 40-acre land that is right there, right, like Simi Valley, and like people who live here, like for me and Ed, it's not far away. And on the 19th of December, there is an event happening there where they basically launch the start of the development of that, to utilize the land of 40 acres. And that could be already, live tracked of, what are we actually really doing, which structures are we using, because funders will be there for sure. And it's also a Bufo church, right? It's incredible. This is another opportunity also in a portfolio. Then there is a hotel oasis in Vegas. Somebody has the whole business plan, financials ready to go, where he wants to bring, connected with the DAO villages. And he said, Mark, let's just, raise money together for that project right now, put it into a trust, create exactly that, so because I have those feedbacks and people really like wanting to do this, I think I don't really believe in delegation. I believe in letting open, share what needs to get done, and let people just look at it and say, okay, I can do that. And you start, completing the task, and you get a percentage in the future token. We can write it on a document, like on a contract for now, until we actually have, the coding going. And that would be my direction for now, right? But I would love to hear Nana also, of course, sharing what's in her heart, in her field, in her awareness of where you see everything, and feminine energy, always honor.
I think, I didn't hear the first part of the conversation, but I think what's really like a factor that always puts people into the investment mode when it comes to like pitching something is when it's not just affecting the community as a small, but like we're putting it out in the world. So anything that we do with the mushrooms, for example, like if we find a way to really cultivate these mushrooms like big time and send them out and make our own products and put it on a crypto coin shop market and sell it there as well. Like this again gives the investor an idea, okay, it's not just a bunch of hippies growing mushrooms in the wilderness, but like they have a business idea behind these things. And we don't have to make a business out of everything, but if we have like an idea how to impact more people in different areas with our project, then this is always a good point for them to say yes to an investment. So
right.
Yeah, getting an investor is you really need to have your ducks in a row, and and in the US anyway, there's lots of legal kind of stuff that needs to be worked out, and then each investor wants to see a different, like they'll make you jump through different hoops. I think getting someone who is really a heart-connected partner, rather than sort of an arm's length investor, is the key. And you might not need that much to get it going. If somebody comes in with a piece of property, then it's a matter of setting up all the legal. So that's the thing I don't quite understand. Hey, Pablo. I don't quite understand how to jumpstart this thing is in terms of the crypto side of things. Like, what does all that cost to get going? Obviously, you need to get, there's like the legalese needs to be all in place and all of that, but that might be $10,000 or $20,000 worth of legal fees or something. But somewhat manageable. But I'd love to hear more about Pablo's project. I think, maybe that's a template that, that we could adopt, right?
I also want to bring before Pablo, bring in Michael that is not here, because we have this project called Unitree, and he's a programmer himself. He also programmed a social network that is based on human design. And he recently was very much into crypto coins and how to link it to community land trusts. And he was hired by, or was in conversation to be hired by Seeds to program for them network community building, but it didn't happen. And I think he would also have quite a lot of input in that. He also knows quite a lot about legal regards, and yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Arian, for sharing that. I did talk to Michael, right, and yeah, he was saying he's excited to look how he can be part in developing something of what we need and be part of that as well. He wanted to join, but it was a little bit too late for him because he's in South Africa. So I will do in the future the calls earlier, so that we can just all from everywhere can be joining. Pablo, thank you.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon. Well, the model is an interesting perspective for me because now I just talk with Ryland with Kiss the Ground, and Kiss the Ground for me is a really good reflection how the green economy is taking place. We have credits of carbon right now, which pays around $30,000 a year for 100 hectares of green land. And that is just the first edition of, the first edition of what we know as green economy is the fruits and vegetables we get to eat every day in life. But there is a critical mass which is getting awareness about what is that fruits and vegetables and where they are coming from. And that is the shortage of food we are envisioning to really happens if you don't take place into changing that. So the models are, first of all, like the idea of how we can produce massive amount of fruits and vegetables of high quality, which is organic, with plant-based nutrients and all of those things, and give that in a mass way, because it's so abundant and prosperous to give, but also how we take care of soil for that happens. And soil, we get to speak about earth, be talking about how we regenerate the earth in process which don't get just back where the earth were before we did whatever we did, but even creating a better scenario, living better than we found it. And so structured water, inoculation of mushrooms, and bee pollination, which is something we know for generations is important to happen, is our principles, is what we bring into the table. And we don't have all the specialists in the world, but I do believe is the invitation for them to get together and really creating in this ecosystem and receiving a really good exchange for that, whatever that means, including land all around the world,
So it sounds like you're really focused on the agriculture.
Absolutely. It is not because it's the agriculture, in the means of I'm creating the money for producing food and all of that, but is in a way of really solving an issue. We have a problem right now, which is how we produce food. And if we can show a blue model which works and really synchronize with the earth, and we can actually provide much more than any other process, we ignite something, which is transformation of the farmland we have in the world right now.
Pablo, do you have a concrete plan on that?
Yes.
And how are you, can you say something about that if you don't mind?
The plan has been developed in 3 different fronts. The first one is structured water, which one of the biggest researchers in the world right now is called Max. He's the founder of Flasca. Is a water bottle which have the structured water technology we work with. I think I introduced you guys, Nana, right in Tulum when I first showed the bottle. And that technology can be created in many different levels. And one of these levels is what we use in the Burning Man for 7 years, which is the altar of intentions. And this is my first model. That's how we have been working the past 7 years. And that gives me clarity of like how important the water is and how much change can provide. So in this study, which was conducted by Max, they had 25,000 plants of strawberry receiving structured water, 25,000 not receiving, and they had like major difference, the yield of the production, the nutrition values, the nutritional flavor, and all of this, the size of the fruits and the shelf life, less disease as well. So that's the first thing, structured water. So let's work with structured water, let's give that to the plants, and let's see a production which is 50% higher. Then we introduce mushrooms. Mushroom inoculation is something has been proved already by Paul Statements, which is the biggest researcher in the area. He's now a big celebrity. He's in Star Trek as one of the new commanders. And it's funny enough, but it's incredible. Mushrooms is a really powerful technology which we are tapping into it. Like there is mushroom which literally can be utilized as an antenna for Wi-Fi, and texture and many other things. Besides, the mushroom is 30% of the earth, as we know. So when we look to earth, when we look to grass and all green, we are seeing 30% mycelium base. If the soil is rich, they're gonna have even more. And this mycelium is 12 kilometers deep down connected. So create a deep in undertunnels connection, which is the meridians of the earth. So when we do that, we create a strengthening of the soil. In Japan, they use the mycelium to create the most effectiveness of the MetroLink possible. They put spores, which is the seeds of the mushroom, in point A, and they put the food in point B. In 24 hours, they track the food, and they made the fastest MetroLink in the world. And that's the power of mushroom. If you create that in 24 hours in your land, can you imagine the possibilities? And it's already clear, like Paul Statements prove that, because 35 years ago, he created the biggest regenerative process in a farm, in a forest, which was devastated, was burned and everything else. So that's the second principle. And the third one is the bees. The bees we know, like, and we have like more a clear understanding how it happens, but there is something we don't really are being aware right now. The bees are dying. We are receiving like more and more data about the common bees dying. Two reasons. The first one is the utilization of majority of European bees in the cultivation. So you create a easy, is what is happening with the vaccination. You create a easy spread of something if the demographic is the same everywhere. So if you one takes the disease, everyone takes the disease. So they are having deformity, and they are not having wings or legs or other mutations. They are dying inside of the hives. They are putrefying the hives. So it's getting really toxic, and many of them don't survive and die and don't produce the honey, which is the least. They are not doing the pollination, and that is the biggest part of the bees. So we create a system as well with the Paul Statements study to incorporate the bees in the fungi. So they receive the spore inoculation as well, and they transfer the spores around the land. These are the three principles, like all the other ones, there is a few others, but these are the three principles which I believe we can introduce into Kiss the Ground first steps into a farmland, and we can really create a blueprint for the whole system, the whole community system, because that's the part of the exchange we are giving, like I think that's really important. I'm doing that to give as much as I can and see the soil receiving so much, and it's just literally falling fruits in our land, like.
That's cool. Quick question, and I don't mean to bring it down to earth too much, but so are you guys entering into commerce with the structured water and the bees and the mushrooms? Like, are you selling products?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we sell products, but it's much more the technology. We are coming into the NFT space right now, where we are digitalizing all this, which is already ready actually. Everything is already digital, and we have access to that technology as an open source and as an art piece. So it's an art piece, which is an art purpose project. And when it goes to the land, activate that. So we can finance crowdfunding through the blockchain system. So we can finance into other projects. And then what Marky has been speaking a lot, which is the fractal ownership. And the fractal ownership happens in the NFT space, but can be as a web for the whole ecosystem. So the lands can be in fractal ownership because the land which receive the NFT, not just digitally, we receive the NFT physically. So you can have the altar of intentions in your land, but you understand that?
Well, I guess I don't understand how the fractional ownership works, like in a practical way. So if I have tokens that give me fractional ownership in a piece of land, aside from the value of trading those tokens or whatever, liquidating them, or maybe the land is sold at some point and I can cash out my tokens, I don't know, but is there, what rights do I have to the land if I have some tokens? You know, is there some practical day-to-day benefits?
There is a company called Plan Systems, which works in a beautiful way of creating white papers for lands and for contracts. So my community have 10 principles of Burning Man, and all the 11 principles of Burning Man, for example, and the new one, which is Leave a Legacy. So that's part of my white paper. And Stephen Brooks' community, which is much more consolidated, 30 years ago was created in Costa Rica, have his own principles, which is working for him. And he have his white paper. So that is a formality which gets to happen when the land is incorporated into the easy ecosystem. But when you have fractal ownership, you have possibilities like of having a timeshare, which is the basic model we know about it. And just to bring back a little bit, fractal ownership is kind of you open hand of a percentage of your company to a stock market. So you have a fractal ownership of that company as having stocks and shares. So that happens with the land. But that's what I'm saying. The green economy is something super new. We are tapping into that. Credits of carbon is here to stay, but it's just the beginning. The production of fruits and vegetables is another one. In lands like ours, what we promote coming from Burning Man is projects really consolidate like the altar of intentions. So all of these projects receive isolate funding because they are from different artists, which are doing their work around the world. You know, like each one have their own essence, and we can tap into more in another time. But can you understand a little bit like what I'm saying? The perks of having each one of the fractal ownership will be depends on where you are and what you're doing and what this land is providing to you.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, I get the timeshare piece, and you know, I guess you know what's going through my head is when you want to enroll stakeholders into participating and supporting, you need a value proposition, right? You need to tell them, oh, this is why you should join this, and here's the benefits. And so I'm trying to understand that big picture, you know.
Yeah, what we have right now, and I'm visualizing, like we are discussing internally in the land, and of course we gotta understand as well, like this is just a piece of the whole thing, right? Like, but I do believe it's one of the fundamental pieces because we are talking about real estate, and real estate is one of the oldest model of financial world, as we know. So that's a really good fundamental way of thinking about that. But like, forgive me, I kind of lost because I had to give you the awareness, because the real estate point is really important for us. But what do you ask again, Ed? Sorry, forgive me.
No, I was just saying that I'd like to try to understand the value proposition. I mean, we have the a positive impact, the social good, right? That's certainly attractive. But if I have a piece of land that I want to participate, why should I participate in this? You know, why?
Beautiful.
What's the reason? What's the benefits? You know, in a business way, you know, people maybe that land, they inherited the land, or they invested in the land, and maybe it's not doing what they want, but they are looking for a way to activate, you know.
Again, there will be a white paper which establishes that connection. The same way you invest in real estate now, and you can get a piece of land which have 3,000 square feet, 3 acres, which is 3,000 square meters. You have like 100,000 for that value, and you go to New York and you buy 200 square feet, and you pay the same value. Forgive me, I received a call. And you pay the same value for 200 square meters. That's a huge differentiation, and happens just by localization, and sometimes by the condominium you live in, by the neighborhood, and all of these things will get value into it. Of course, the production of the land, or the value of the land produced, will be different for each one, and that's what I'm trying to say here. We don't want to, we want to unify the project, because there is these principles which get to be conducive. So the land, we know we are investing in a land which have like the idea of really getting prosper into the growth of the land, and is creating assets for the world. Like it is a I call sanctuaries, and promotes that, you know, like it really is unbelievable. Like it's because just in value of nature is what I get to be excited with, you know. Like I don't really get to be excited with anything else, and I know the monetary value is unbelievable. But when you talk about, for example, our land, we have a pond, and we have a structure process happening there. We're gonna create the first structure lake in the whole world, and this lake is providing water for the soil underground, and it's going back into the river which passed by our land, and that's how the lake exists. We are 3 kilometers from the ocean. The structuring process is a clear non-contamination, you know, like a clear contamination of the water. It creates a water which automatically regenerates. It's kind of like you're creating literally like elixir for the earth, you know, like, and you spread all around as seeds. So if you have production of food itself, is a huge thing. Festivals, events, which happens in the land, and I get to go inside. I don't want to go too deep right now into the land model, because it's not the time yet. But I see the connectivity, and I hope I could answer you in your question, how we give value for the pool. And in our land specifically, we have 50 shares of the land, and we are discussing right now how much we are open to it. We have right now already bought it into the land 20 partners, and we have an investment around $350,000 into the land. So whatever comes out of there, like, is definitely a pool of that. But we know that spot is a spot which have the digital space, so the NFT is gonna come in that spots, and things like that. So the value right now is being discussed.
No, thank you. What I wanted to say to that is, for sure, okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. So I know we're jumping a little bit back and forth, but maybe that would also help what I'm sharing right now to you guys. It's from this from our brother Michael, who couldn't join this call, who's in South Africa. He created a little like a tokenomics token model investment plan, right? Because that would be how people would be able to invest into that. Plus, different benefits can be also for them receiving interest by just holding the token and start utilizing it within the system. You know, to be able to like, you know, think about the end producer, the end application ad, where you actually use those tokens. It becomes not the tokens, it will probably maybe being able to just purchase things in the digital metaverse, which you will be you will get physically when you actually earned it through the gamified world, right? Like you're working, because it will change completely, where we will go to work or collect coins, we will go virtually to do that, right? And then we utilize that to ground the actual our higher self that we project into virtual reality, right? Or our future potential self, and that's also a way of looking at it. But let me screen share this page really quick. Can you guys see this? So Michael called it Unitree. I like it. That's why I was like, okay, let's look at it. Let's build on it, because everything is true and right. And I hope question, like more, you know, answers got revealed today. But in my personal flow, the next move is creating the tokenomics, because we do have an example with Pablo's land that we can for sure like explore more and more and more how the agriculture works, how all that works. But first, it's like we through the because we don't have to have all the answers right now, is all what I'm saying, because the answers come along the path when we have already people believing in that and have an infrastructure where the investment can come in organized. That will make sense when we will be in that position where we have you know, real value that you can use, where you can use that tokens that has real value to really do something with it, right? And until then, it becomes how every other crypto project is, just a token, a placeholder for people who believe in the project to come in first, right? To just get on track back. He calls it Unity platform, where you have 1 village, 2 villages, 3, 4 villages. And I just would like to read that because I think it makes sense. Create a platform for funding and project management of developing of eco-villages built around agroforestry, is how he calls it, like agriculture with forest, rebuilding forests, which was very impressive what Michael sent to me. I was like, okay, that's really cool. But then I had with him an open conversation about some belief systems, and I'm like, dude, I'm not talking about belief systems, because if we still talk about belief systems, we're not there. And I mean that, and I really want to share it with everyone, and that this is a recording for everybody to listen to it. But we're not talking here about different beliefs. We're really talking about creating something new. So we leave all the old stories, all the old belief systems in the past, right? Because we're just focusing on creating something new. What we will talk about is values and priorities. Okay, just that would be another call where we just simply talk about that. And if the values are in integrity with your being, and if it's in alignment with you, then we definitely are looking forward to collaborate long-term together, right? If the priorities, you can fit it in your life, those priorities, then amazing. Then we can start listing the task, and you can just jump in and execute a task. And we can define through this unitary token model the different way of what everybody will receive as a reward for the working contribution, which comes with different matrices. That's where I feel like bringing Raymond in, right, Raymond Powell, to do the different matrices for each way of exchanging energy, right? You create your own protocols of how you exchange energy in each land, right? And that's a really good model right here. Platform compromises content management system for sharing the vision with the world. Makes total sense. Social network for people to connect with different capital to develop eco projects. That's kind of like what we are doing. Like right now, it's 1 and 2, defining that platform where we share it to the world so people can buy it, bring the capital in, unify together. Okay. And then we create a map that shares where all the eco villages are, right? Where they are at, because it will happen simultaneously. There are many people right now talking about this stuff in their own little bubble, and that can get to those individuals where we can just plug it all in beautifully, all the eco villages with their own white paper and blueprint. That's why I love what Pablo said with planned systems. That's amazing that they are out there. Definitely we will work with them. Map gives the ability to share the vision for each eco village project. Makes also sense. People can comment on the project visions to help develop the project. That's where we open source what needs to get done, and the list of rewards again. Every eco village is turned into a DAO with a token, right? That's what he's showing also more down here, that I will go into it in a little bit. And token represents the capital allocation of the project, and there be the stake in the project, right? That's something I think that's interesting to look in deeper, how he sees that really looks like. Homes are listed as NFTs, and that could go so unique. You could do like every art piece, every single dome can be an NFT just in itself. It goes unlimited. The NFT market can be just like endless, and that's where you can constantly buy fractional ownership of those pieces. The values will increase because of every NFT on the land will increase at the same time when the whole ecosystem works. So I see that win-win cycle going. Pablo, you want to say something?
I pressed the wrong button. Yes, including like NFTs, we are talking about like, we have already NFTs which cost like unbelievable amounts of money and have no value at all. Like, to be honest, is an art collection, and that's the value, is the perception value. When you attach that value into creating benefits for the land, like you exponentialize that. In our land, for example, one of the guys, which is the creator of the virtual world and how we are interacting into the metaverse, he's in the Guinness Book for 2 works of his in visual arts. So he's creating an immersive experience which is with augmented reality in VR, and you have like the sensorial experience connected with, this is just the piece of the NFT.
Right. That's I mean look, what you got, Pablo, right now, with putting, that's what we just have to finalize and put the pieces more in place, and it's already happening. But with what you got as a model there and what you showed to me, right, at that day, plus the platform that will funnel that abundance to duplicate that model everywhere, white paper with this tokenomics model that I'm just sharing here, that will be part of the white paper. We already have so much more value in my perspective, and please bring in geniuses to prove what I'm saying, but has more value than like, I don't know, 90% that is out there on the crypto world. Because
the first NFT gonna be launched this December 21st, which is the Altar of Intentions. And the Altar of Intentions have a documentary which was produced in the past 4 years. And I can also follow up the teaser of the documentary. Is made from one of the biggest professionals in Brazil, a person which I have an amazing honor to work with. And he's in with us to now explore the launch of the NFT and calling into the next stage of the Altar of Intentions, which is giving that technology. Exploring here, Austin, with Kiss the Ground, you know, it was really powerful because United States have a really good model in base regenerative agriculture. So all these farms which are connected with Kiss the Ground right now, I don't remember the amount, but it's like it's a significant number, you know, like we are talking about millions of hectares, and how we can really just get it into this land and impact it in a green way, you know, like, and really transform this land in 1 year, like 1 year of implementing the principles, the change in a place which already have a pond and have a system of irrigation, and a place which have animals and have rotation, you know, like, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
I love it. Yeah, we totally, it's so beautiful because Ryland, yeah, just really getting with Kiss the Ground fully nailed down. It's yeah, it scales it, and it's great. It's beautiful, bro. I know you see what I see in that space with the people. It's yeah, just focusing on the model that you already have and everything that you share with agriculture. Again, the platform, the white paper, and then a really legit, beautiful proposal, right? And just by the way, I shared the presentation already with a crypto real estate lawyer group of people. I will share with you guys the link in their website so that you guys know who they are and what they are doing. But their whole purpose is a law firm, and they brought a lot of the cannabis growers, and you know, so they supported a lot of the cannabis to be legal in America. And they also want to change now, you know, putting the intention behind, you know, smoking cannabis, or having the intention behind, you know, utilizing mushrooms, and just going back to that intention. That's why they mainly want to work with us, because we hold that space in ceremony, right? Intentional, real space. And I shared with them already the presentation. They're now looking deep dive into the whole thing, how to set up that legal structure. They fully get what you know, what we want to do, and because that's a huge piece, to have the legal infrastructure with all the other pieces that I just shared, Kiss the Ground Agriculture, with what you have, white paper. I'm repeating it on purpose so that we can remember the priorities. With the white paper, that legal structure, and the proposal. So the proposal is something that's very interesting. And as I said, Ed, you have the expertise, and I have a feeling to, just like Pablo, when you have more of your proposal done, we have Zeke doing another one, I have another person doing another one, with different ways and approaches. Also with the Vegas portfolio, right? With the Vegas spa, that's another proposal with Torrey James. He can't be on a call, but I can share with you guys also the video about his project. But utilizing
the Vegas project, like, you got to understand what is happening here. We are creating an ecosystem, and that ecosystem will have like multiple projects, which is not even an attempt of mine now to trace like what is the limitation, because there is no limitation. Like, there is a model of sustainable community already in the project, which is mine, and there is a model which is the Vegas hotel in the strip, which is a completely different things, like have absolutely a gigantic difference in between them, but with the core values of providing to the earth something which is a legacy, is like long tail, and that's huge.
Yeah, it is, and so just to finish my sentence and thought, with all good, but I love it. The different proposals, so that we run it through you, Ed, you know, and you can also like, because it for me it's important, like someone who has the expertise and knowledge and the background that you have, to really say, hey, I get it. I get it as a standpoint from an investor. I'm putting money into this. So for you having that knowledge and feeling, and then just give us a feedback before we even decide to send it out.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to help in whatever ways I can. You know, one thing that really stands out to me just looking at the Unitree tokenomics is, number one, it seems very locked, like Pablo, like you were saying, you're very focused on the agricultural, relationship with the land and with the planet. And, I'm not sure every project is going to have the same focus, because, like Las Vegas is a barren desert. And, you might, the commerce with the land, the relationship with the land may be more about bringing people there for festivals or things like that, right? And there can be a different relationship with the land other than farming or bees or anything like that. Also, I'm very much into digital economy, so what would be cool for me is to have an immersive theater that is also and commerce happening that is like content creation, right, where we create immersive experiences and maybe even do ceremonies, but dome cast them to other domes, or into VR or whatever like that. So
That's
it
happening.
seems, yeah. So it seems like if we can create a structure that each, and I guess maybe we have that sort of, we were talking about a DAO for each property, then the white paper for each property could be different depending on the kind of, right, commerce and relationship that you want to create with the land and with the participants.
Absolutely, and what gonna happen is a unprecedented generation of value by square meter, because you can have like a Among Us project like this one in the strip in Las Vegas, which generate for the ecosystem 1,000 tokens a year. And you can have a land which is like mine in Brazil, ours in Brazil, which have 20 acres, like probably 5 times less than what is in Vegas, and generate like 100,000 tokens, because there is all of these values attributes generating. But the important part is like these are all like supported for the ecosystem, which is commonly generating this value. And the white paper in thesis get to be established with principles, like Michael said in the body. Like you gotta have a structure model where the land is the principle of that project being inside of this ecosystem is we are creating lands which have a process to give back to earth and promotes earth health. So you cannot not have compost, like you cannot not have recycle. You cannot,
basic principles that really apply everywhere.
Yes, exactly. Because then we create a model where like we have a start from, and from there, like you can put whatever you want, like you can be a energy lab, you can be a solar farm, you can be a solar energy farm, which give solar energy for the whole neighborhood, and on and on. And I know so much is coming out of it.
Yeah,
So much.
Yeah, I would also add, I agree. Like on one part, I think the agroforestry and permaculture aspect is very important because it's also about a paradigm shift and also about our connection to the whole. And I think it can also easily flip if we're only focusing on economy, and then it will just be the same stuff we've been doing before. But to me, it's always like a balance between culture and economy. And personally, as an artist, I also think that this aspect should have a bigger presence in the presentation. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and as a longtime burner, I very much resonate with the principles. Although one of the principles of Burning Man is non-commercial. So it's sort of Burning Man, sort of like a nonprofit, if you will, community model. Whereas if you want something long-term sustainable. Well, it's interesting because a nonprofit can certainly make money and pay people, and it's just you're not pulling money out and putting it into your own pocket or a sports car or something else. It just rolls any sort of profit rolls right back into reinvesting.
Right. Nana wanted to share for a while. But I love the point. Yep.
Yes, I think it's maybe a good moment to share what I've kind of been incubating here in Tulum. And it goes along with what Pablo was saying about the permaculture, but in a way that's more commercial and more easy to just spread in the entire world. And this is through, basically fixing the sewage problem here in Tulum by building free wetlands, like natural mangroves for the hotels, for the restaurants, for the communities. So with the community mapping of Regen, we have about 100 communities that we can already start building these wetlands for these natural mangroves. We're building them for free because we have the materials here ready, and they're going to be artsy, beautiful, creational pieces, like kind of a Gaudi style, like beautiful, beautiful wetlands or shit pools, like I call them, because it's what it is, like it's where our human compost is going. But on these, you can grow incredible bananas, incredible papayas, incredible tomatoes, anything that sucks a lot of water, you can grow incredibly on these wetlands. Now, the deal is that we're implementing, like we're building these wetlands there. And the only exchange is that we're taking about 5% of the harvest. So whatever it's being harvested there, we're taking about 5% of that, putting it into Tulum and making a free restaurant there. And this free restaurant is going to have vegan, gourmet-style, plant-based food that's then supposed to be a franchise. So the idea is to sell the franchise training to other people, that they can create their own free restaurants in the entire world, which is going to be with a free delivery service as well. Like the excess of food that we're going to be creating, because it's fucking abundance, and because all you have to do is go to the bathroom and all of a sudden the banana is growing. This food, we can have a food delivery service as well, where you only pay for the shipping, but we're going to ship it out with catamarans. So like it's going to go around the entire world, super fast, super free. They have solar catamarans now, like no electricity is being used, no nothing. So we can deliver these foods and these recipe boxes, something like HelloFresh, but much, much, much greater, because we're going to be the first Michelin star vegan restaurant. We have a really amazing chef. She's a gourmet chef already, but if she can go into a training and we can make this like a kind of franchise fast food place, but it's going to be, you sit down with beautiful plates and you have a beautiful meal, simple, everything's going to be super simple but super high class because it's coming locally. You have a positive carbon footprint and you're spending no money at all, and it's called shit food, because no matter if you think the food is shit, it actually is, and the food is going to be amazing. So there's really nothing to lose. And this whole system, if this can be kind of like, I don't know, I didn't ask him yet, but like if Pablo likes this somehow, because it's a two-way thing. So this would be perfect for hotels, restaurants.
I love it.
Hotels, restaurants, cities, but like anything else with bigger spaces, like it needs the real agriculture with the bees and the mushrooms and everything else. So it's like a two-way thing. One can be the training that goes to the communities and people with land, and the other thing is literally anybody in New York City can create a little shit land. And it's not just from the toilet, but also from the kitchen waste, to put the grease traps in and to just have a natural compost. And yeah, basically to give people the opportunity to have free food for their restaurant, but also take a little bit of it, which is the kind of exchange that we're doing, to create free restaurants for the people.
That's amazing.
Who is
Yeah.
financing this project? I remember you told me a little bit about that. Like, that's so
Oh
crazy.
no, this is new. This is like this is super new. But the beautiful thing is, Pablo, I didn't even tell you this yet, or Mark, I didn't even tell you yet, or Ed. But like the day that we had this call, the Friday, I was at the same time I was really listening to you. I tried my best, but also there was a whole talk going on of Karun, and maybe you guys know him, but he's like leading in the water system, wastewater
Karuna,
industry. Yes.
what
And so he
now?
was giving, Pablo, you're not going to believe this. He was giving a talk about his community in Brazil. That's like literally 10 kilometers from the community in Brazil that you were giving a talk on. I was literally watching the two people speaking about the same thing, one in real life, one on the screen. It was inception, like absolutely perfect. So I know that this is somehow aligned with everything because it was incredible. And the first things you said actually in the talk were, you said something about coincidences and synchronicities. And I was like, Pablo, if you would know that this is right now the biggest coincidence.
Of course,
Yeah.
and there is that aspect. Like, we are creating Corumbau a really epicenter. Like, we are huge already. Like, we arriving in hundreds. You know, like, it was unbelievable what happened there. And knowing Karuna is there as well. Karuna is an amazing person, guys.
So,
He's
yeah,
the founder of
yeah.
Water Now, and an unbelievable project of Water worldwide. Sorry,
Yes, and
Nana.
he's now, well, no, he is really amazing. Like he really knows what he's doing. Like he really knows. And so I told him the same day about the project, about this shit food thing. And he was like, amazing. He's going to pitch it this week to 3 hotels that he's going to build the sewage systems for. So what Ed was saying in the beginning, we need like a case example. This is what I think is the most important thing. Like if we're trying to show the world that we can build abundance, but we can't build it without having any money. But right now we don't have any money, but we should still create something that shows that we can actually do it because we're telling everybody else that they can do it. So if we can start to build some of these shitlands, if we can start to build some of these agriculture farms. I have a friend in Guatemala who literally told me we can use her land for whatever we want. It has 10 ladies on there that making blankets every day by hand, but this is it. They're just working the land, making blankets, and this land is waiting for something to happen. So if we can create a small version of it there, like maybe go down there, record it, like do something there, but let's just show that we can do it. And then the funding is going to come for itself because we're creating a little tiny version of it that then gonna show everybody else how to do it, well, as a template or something.
That's what is happening right now. Pretty much what I see is the early investors, they are investing in real estate. You know, like we are creating a pool which is gonna be, I think is the value is unbelievable, but I do believe we're gonna receive an initial investment of 300 to half a $500,000, and that's enough to really put us in a high volume, because we're going to be operating in 3-4 different fronts with the community, and we're going to be creating these land sanctuaries. In one year, the project already going to have so much development, not just in the physical world, but the digital world, which is a metaverse of the communities, and not just a product for example, Facebook to purchase and be part of it. You know, like we are the only Burning Man in Brazil, official burn in Brazil. We have an official Burning Man happening in the land, and you can come to this space inside of the metaverse of this ecosystem. So having the opportunity and coming that inside of this commercial sphere is just a propaganda to bring like a much bigger vision into place, which is creating these like this wedge is unbelievable. I love it, your idea. Like, it's so beautiful, you know, like Cobos is one of the biggest poop kings in the world, you know, like he literally have a contract with Burning Man of a 60 or 80% of all the toilets in Burning Man this year, which coming back next year, is ecozoic, is a restroom which is compostable toilets, use bacteria to create fertilizer. With his restroom, like with two persons toilet, you able to have like, I think 12 fruit trees, which is banana, a lemon, like there's depend the land as well. but banana is a super expensive plant to have. You gotta use 60 liters of water daily for the banana tree to grow, and with the toilet, like you reduce that like drastically. So pure, I love it. I love it.
And also like the whole Chiquita banana, like this whole industry, it's such a bloody industry. It's like the same up with Nestle and all these criminal mafias. So just by allowing people here, like not to buy those Chiquita bananas, but like the most beautiful banana trees I saw here were grown from literally the toilet land of some people. But yeah, that's just one piece of the puzzle.
I would love to have like the whatever information in the Swedge project, because I truly believe in incorporating that into the project with the lands, you know, like, and have that. Because Cobus already have something, I definitely gonna connect you to talk more. And he was just with me in the phone before this call. But there is two projects coming out from him. One is the blocks for construction, so utilizing they compose organic material from poop to do blocks, like construction blocks. And the other one is biodynamic soil. So is a huge part of his business right now.
So you build houses through shit?
Yeah.
So that's fun. That's an NFT.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. That's shit houses, like that's a real thing, like the real thing. They all holy shit.
holy shit, yes, holy shit. No, but really,
Cool
it's like,
shit.
it's not even inventing new things. It's like back in the day in Germany, like when they used to keep their little houses warm, they just used the cow poop and they just put it on the walls to like isolate the place. So it makes all total sense. Like we're not having to think too much and invent new things. We just have to look backwards and see what our great grandmas were doing, and just same with
Absolutely.
community building. Like what did the people used to do back in Africa? Well, they dug a hole, they had a well, and then they gathered around it, made a fire, and the community starts from there.
That was a really powerful point. And just through this call right now and the information and value already shared on this call and the point that it is recorded, it already happened. Like it's, you know, it really already happened. Yeah, I have another call soon that is also very, very interesting. And yeah, from now on, every call, everything that's happening from now on is just adding a lot of value in. And what we need is graphics explaining what we are talking about in whatever way, and vision, and these experiences, giving people some visuals, diagrams, graphics, whatever we need. And yeah, and organizing people and data in different Excel sheets, and to just knowing that they are there, because now we know, okay, Ed, Nana is on the call, Arian, Michael, Pablo has a few, then we bring in new organizations in, and it will just get a lot. And yeah, I will share with you guys, because you guys are in a call or in the Telegram group, a little list of some tasks that I need to get done, and then we just go from there from now.
Very cool. I'd also look forward to speaking with the other Michael about the presentation he put together. I have some questions, one of which is, it looks like it's tied to the US dollar. So then if you create tokens that are tied to the US dollar and then can be exchanged back for dollars, it's like, why not just use dollars? I mean, what?
It's not tied to US dollars. It's USDT and USDC. Those are crypto coins, which are the most stable coins right now. And
I see. I didn't understand that. Yep, very cool.
They have a tokenization of like control the raise of the coin. So regardless, like it varies in between 97 cents and $1.07, something like that.
Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I'm looking it up now. So thank you for that clarification.
Of course. I actually invest in them. Like, it's a good way to do it.
Cool. All right.
Okay,
well,
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Amazing
Pablo.
time.
Thank
Great
you,
call.
everyone. Amazing call. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you all. And yeah, let's just keep going. Love you guys.
Cheers. Hi to everyone out there watching this.
Yes. Much love.
Bye.
Bye bye.
What's up?
Bye bye.